Hello everyone and welcome to another Starfield video. My name is Brian if you happen to be new around here, but if you're already a part of the amazing 74,456 of y'all who've hit that subscribe button, who are taking the challenge to become everyday millionaires, who want to change their lives and live and game like never before, welcome in and welcome back. We've got a lot to talk about because the number one question that I was getting asked while playing Starfield is, what's up with IGN's 7 or GameSpot's 7? All in all, the reviews that have come out that have dropped yesterday have been, I think, overwhelmingly positive. But there's always going to be something out there. And so I thought I'd make a dedicated video kind of highlighting a few points that I have, obviously bringing in some other voices, as I like to do, pulling in various different tweets and comments, and overall just talking about how I feel about the game, having finally played the game. And again, for those of you who are here, the gameplay footage is going to be stock gameplay footage, so no spoilers for y'all, because trying to keep that keep that sacred in a way, because holy freaking crap, guys, there were some big jump scares that I got, and yeah, it was fun. I've been having a good time, but I thought I'd spend some time on this because this was, again, the number one question that I was getting asked over and over again last night, and I loved watching and reading a lot of the reviews. And the best part is, this is just the start of it, and that I think is something where reviews just don't tell the story. So let's TLDR this. Now, I do have I think, kind of a meaty class dismissed for y'all today, so if you want to hang out for that, I hope you enjoy. But let's open it up with Destin saying, I wish I had a hot take that for the Starfield thread for y'all, but mostly I'm with you. Just excited to play and come to my own conclusions. Does a review make you enjoy your enjoyment less? No. Go play and have a good time. Don't worry too much about what others are saying, and go and have your own adventure. I wanted to start with this because this is true, and I echo and would add on, the review score numbering system, it just doesn't make sense. And what I've also seen, and you might still look at review scores to decide whether you want to buy a game or not, but I've seen a massive shift in people going to live streams to determine if they want to go ahead and buy the game. Seeing somebody actually play the game and seeing how they interact with the game has, in a way, outweighed the review score, but we've still got this ingrained system because we've had it with us this whole time. So I don't put a lot of stock into number. I never have. In fact, if you look at any of the games I've been playing this year, like heck, we open with Forspoken and people are just hating on the game. I try to find the fun and the joy, and I do, because that's, I think, what gaming is about for me, and it has always been about that for me. And that's where, like, when we bring up kind of Dreamcast guy and Kareem, he's bringing up some frustration that I absolutely understand. He says, this is upsetting. These gaming content creators make me want to stop my over 5 million sub channels and pages just to go full force on a gaming channel to combat this obvious use of hate and exploitation of launches. They prey on the downfall and pray for a messy launch. All they care about is making you get angry, and so they can get that money from engagement. Dreamcast guy, tweeting out his video like, well, oh, was I right about Starfield and things like that? We all know that's the game being played. We all know that negativity drives engagement. Also, hyper positivity does as well. Like, that's the weird part about social media. Like, it really wants us to be like, you got to be an extremist one way or the other. You got to be like, the game's always going to be perfect, and 10 doesn't represent perfection, which is another misnomer, because then I want to bring up Black Viking, because he is like, this is such a great tweet because this puts what I'm talking about into context, especially when you factor reviews with what time plays out. He says, boy bye, how can anyone take y'all seriously with a Rage 2 review of an 8 and a Starfield review score of a 7. And this really, again, 7 wouldn't be even an issue. A 7 is a good score by IGN standard, but people don't relate it to that. You see the 7 and you all automatically think C, because you're like, oh, a 70 in school, that's what that is. And that's not how that relates, but no matter what, that's where this review score goes and takes you to. But then you see so many 10s. IGN Japan, like, even from their own company, which is interesting how IGN kind of, in a way, franchises itself out to different areas, dropping 10s. And then you're like, okay, what is a 10? What is a 9? And I think this is what is a good kind of highlighted of it. Like, is Rage 2 truly an 8? Are you still playing it? Are you still, like, excited about it? I think that's where Starfield, like the things that will make it a game of a generation, will make this this moment in history. For example, whether you like Destiny 2 right now or not, Destiny came in at a 7 and people are still like playing it in droves. So this kind of falls into the movie critics review and the audience review, right? Like, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B here, but I think it's important to kind of get that context. And so, yes, I was surprised by IGN's 7, but then again, that just reaffirms the problem that IGN has overall. I think that they've lost touch. I think they're disconnected. I think they're in a way set in old school with the review, as opposed to like, well, let's actually live stream the game and have that kind of experience in real time. So I just wonder what you guys think about that. That's just my general thought. I don't put stock into it. It doesn't bother me one way or the other, because I've really enjoyed seeing all of the discussion and all the talk going on around it. And yeah, I do get frustrated when we start to think about, the overall like rage bait farming, which if you're a full timer, if you're trying to grow a channel, that's a game that you can play. And if that's something that you're enjoying, I'm not judging you for it. That is going to be how it is. But guys, that's what I just wanted to talk about. I think we're going to shift over into Class Dismissed. I got so many positive comments. I've been getting so much love. We're going to talk about a little bit both sides, the love and the hate. Let's start with the positive, because I think that's really nice. Buzz says, came here for Starfield content, stayed and subscribed for the wisdom. I love Dave Ramsey, although I don't fully subscribe to the methods, and I love God. So everything you're saying is hitting me in on many levels. In this day and age, you're going to get hate no matter what you put out there, unfortunately. So keep being true to yourself and to your beliefs. I'm extremely excited to play Starfield. I just don't have early access yet, and I'm still patiently waiting. This video is making it easy, though. LOL. Keep what you do. Keep coming back to watch. Well, thank you, Buzz, and welcome in. This, like I shared in the video, like the message I kept getting was just be not afraid. And I've been doing this, and I actually even kind of tweeted it out, like, hey, I'm going to be trying something else. Just, starting to really just put, hope out there. Trying to like put encouragement out there, put love out there, because what am I really doing? Because I've never been this guy who's like, I want to grow a channel, I want to be the big YouTuber, etc. I was like, no. I love making videos. I love talking about video games. It's like, but what's the real value? And I was like, let me give you the information, and then also can give you my professional and expertise, as a software engineer. Like I have some, unique advantages based off of my career and how, and how I perceive things and how I understand systems. And so it's like, okay, let me give the value there. And it's like, and then at the same time, like I see this just massive hunger, online, and my feeds are like, you're really always kind of wild when it comes to what I consume on YouTube. And it's like, I see a lot of people afraid, it's just a lot of fear. And it's like, okay, let's address that, and the way I choose to address all of this is to be like absolutely transparent, open, honest, sharing stats, like all of this, because I think there's a great mystery to content creation, a lot of assumptions, because like a lot of people assume like, oh man, because you're, this size, this is what this means. And it's like, not necessarily, because, certain content, people don't want to advertise on, right? And this is, in an advertising, driven business model, same thing with a review bit. Like if your business requires early access to get product to be first for your reviews, and you don't do that, and you get screwed because that's what Xbox did to Eurogamer. You'll end up, like it's always going to be that, that kind of thing where you are going to be relying on that. And for me, like I want to just be real. I just want to. I'm sick of the fake. I think we all are, and we've seen that, more and more, especially in the age of AI. We're like, what is true, what is not? I don't know. So yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Now, Alpha says, I seldom sign into YouTube these days, but I had to for this. If you, the viewer, are reading this creator is probably the most down-to-earth, real personality that I've ever seen on YouTube. The video alone earned me a subscribe and a like, and I'm eagerly looking forward to more of his content. Incredibly uplifting and inspiring. If you're reading this, you were meant to see this man's video. Be well, friends. So thank you very much, Alpha. Like, again, the outpouring, like, the love, I'm highlighting a lot of these like real love positive bombs here, because we're going to talk about some negative stuff here in a bit. And I just wanted to make sure that it's like the negative is so small, but it's still there. And the internet has the ability to magnify the negative because but then if you were in the physical world, you would never hear that, you never see that. And content creators and people who are just putting stuff out on the internet tend to end up having this, like, I've seen a lot of people struggle because a negative comment will ruin their day. And for me, thankfully, I don't have that I don't have that muscle or whatever that causes that to fire in my brain. I'm just like, oh, okay, let's talk about it. Like, that's my solution to anything. That's my solution to politics. Let's just ask questions. It's like, well, how does that make you think? What does that make you feel? Like, teach me, in that regards. And that's why I bring it up, on the channel, because it's like, I'd rather ask the questions and get new information than all of us sitting around going like, oh, if I ask, maybe I'm going to get kicked off the island, and maybe I do get kicked off the island. But it's a shitty island, if that's the way we want to live. And so there we go. Marvin B. Bennett says, I'm just getting started with loans. So thank you so much for sharing this info. What a great format for gaming and helpful life advice as well. Instant subscribe. I'm, while I would say like the goal here, especially because like what Dave Ramsey has taught me has been so influential, I'm not going to shame anybody for using a credit card or, getting student loans to get their education. But I will say, like, if that's something you choose while you work, while you're in your school, like, try to pick up any kind of jobs and scholarships. And there's things out there, right? Like, you just got to kind of hunt them down. And then when you get out, when you get your degree, like, go into it knowing that, like, once you get done, like, you're going to run at those things so quick, because they, like, a lot of people like, oh, that's good debt, like, oh, that's stuff you can carry around. You can deduct it on your taxes. You know what? You can also deduct on your taxes being charitable. Like, you could say, instead of handing that money to the bank so you can save a quarter, you hand $1 to the, to the government so you can save, a quarter. You can hand, people, like, who need it, that money, and actually change somebody's life for the better, as opposed to some banker, and you can still get the same tax deduction. But I would just say, like, yeah, like, if you finish your degree, get going, get your life, but be aware of what you're taking on, and be sure to run at it as quickly as possible. Like, just attack it. So come out, fighting and swinging, so that way you don't have that loan all of a sudden feel like, like you're going into retirement and you're still trying to pay for that education. And because it will like steal, because you can't even bankrupt it. That's the thing. Like everything in life could go wrong for you, and that loan is going to continue to remain over your head. So get it done, get it paid, and you're going to hopefully enjoy your life. So keep it up, guys. I'm here to encourage you, let you know that hope is not lost. There is lots of good stuff happening out there. All right. AJ says, fully grown adults still fighting of which plastic box company is better gets me every time. Imagine rallying up people behind a cause that's so dumb you might as well just join primary school again. Nice work on the title and thumbnail. Game turned out to be a bang on average. In the end, you're the real loser here. If I'm a loser, I hope everybody else can have as much loss or success as I have. That's the funny thing. Like, tell me you haven't watched the video without telling me you haven't watched the video. But I'm glad you enjoyed the thumbnail. That's the whole, and that's the thing that no matter what, like, will always suck. Like, I try to make the thumbnails as inviting as possible, a little bit of mystery maybe behind them, because the goal is like, I want people, when they, YouTube shows the video, to click on it. And this is where, like, within the YouTube thing that, like when we brought up Dreamcast guy earlier, like, if he doesn't play that game, like, YouTube will forget that he exists and people will move on with their lives. Because it's like, if YouTube isn't recommending your videos, then people aren't watching your videos. And the way that happens is that people have to click on the video to watch it, in that regards. But yeah, like, I love the thing, like, I'm the real loser here. It's like, hey, maybe watch the videos, because I don't subscribe to any plastic box. Like, I'm console agnostic. I think that is the best way to live. I want more. I love what Xbox does, because they don't punish me and say I have to go buy an Xbox. They say, if you'd like to buy an Xbox, we'll sell you an Xbox. And because I can play on PC, I get so many choices, and I want more choices for gamers, because I think that is the best option out there. And games are a great thing. Like, why I like games over other medium. Like, when we talk about budgeting, dollar per hour joy, like, it gives me I get way more from a video game than I do if I would go take my wife to the movies. Now, my wife went to the movies. We went and saw Barbie like last month. It was great. We schedule and budget that, and that's wonderful. But I also will buy a video game, and we will spend more time with that game than we will with the Barbie movie, right? So anyway, yeah. And then again, if I'm a failure, if I'm, considered a loser, like I really wish that everybody could join me in whatever that is. We're weird here. I want to rebel against this standard. If normal is, not speaking your mind and just being quiet, like I don't want to be that. I don't want to be normal. And I've always been weird. I've always, I've been persecuted. People have hurt me physically, sent me to the hospital because of my faith, like because of my skin color. Like I've lived these nightmares, and I'm stronger for it. And so, yeah, I would love more people to see the things that I see, and the love that I have for humanity. Is hopefully you can get just a taste of that. But again, like for me, especially like I've shared this like with a bunch of guys, like when Maddie was born, my oldest, like I said that I talk about it like breaking the level cap in a video game. I loved my wife 100%. And then the instant Maddie was born, I realized that love was bigger than that. And the level cap was unlocked. And my love for not just my wife, but also my new daughter, but also all of humanity. And then honestly, like the other thing that really kind of sat very hard, that was just like, wow, like was then the appreciation for Christ's sacrifice on the cross for my daughter, who now exists and and I was like, holy crap. Like, so there were so many emotions and realizations, but again, that level cap being unlocked at that time was just absolutely wild. Now, Dusk says, I agree. The politic comics pisses me off. I'm not offended. I think that I think what you like, but it's already hard to get away from the partisan BS encroaching on everything else. It's toxic, distasteful, and it will actually turn away viewers when you're trying to grow your channel. Now, this is why I wanted to bring it up. I'm not trying to grow a channel, guys. And I know for some, especially for those that out there that are wanting to, I don't want to discount you. I know that that's something you want and you're grinding, but that's never been what this has been about. This has been about me talking about video games. The fact that people have hit subscribe and are here and listening right now, it is humbling to no end. But if my goal was to grow a channel, I think I would just it would just suck the joy out of what it is, because the thing is maybe it's because I know about the grind in the game, and I know, like, because I studied like this stuff, like that's how my brain works. I love to see how systems work. So I've been studying the YouTube algorithm, because one of the things that was just mind blowing is that when the studies come out and say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And people were like, it went from like astronaut, doctor, etc. to YouTuber. And then I was like, what? All these kids want to be a YouTuber. Okay. So I have kids. Like, what? Like, are they going to want to be YouTubers? Are they going to want to do this stuff? It's like, well, I need to find all the dark corners. I need to go find all the positive and negative out there. My brain's like, I got to understand what is happening. And what I've learned is absolutely terrifying. I do a lot of talks to other parents, going like, the things that happen when you go from consuming social media to posting social media has a wild impact on your brain and your personality. And so for me, like, I'm not trying to grow a YouTube channel. And I do think at some point, I'm sure that I get quiet canceled. And this is true. Like, I've had reporters try to investigate me and stuff like that. Turns out I'm a pretty decent guy, and it's like, I'm open, I'm transparent. It's like, well, here's all the stuff. I struggle with anger. I've talked about that on the channel. I've gone to therapy for that. And thankfully I've never done anything about like anger. I just get angry and storm off. Like, that is essentially that aspect. But as I've gotten older and as I've been able to learn and through therapy and develop tools, I can understand and control that anger much better. And thankfully, it's like I would tell you, like, it feels like it's been probably over a decade since I lost my cool, which is great. But it doesn't mean that I don't get angry. It just means that I now have better tools to deal with it. So get therapy. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. You're not weak if you need it. It's been very helpful, helping us to deal with anxiety. But then also, it turns out I've been dealing with this medical issue for 10, 12 years. And now that I'm working on that, I feel phenomenal. Like, it's just great. But yeah, that's why I just want to highlight this. Like, I'm not trying to grow a channel. I'm trying to understand the world that my kids are going to grow up in, and then be able to, like I said in my last video, just like if I'm able to do some positives and do some good in this world. If one of you sit here and listens to these things who doesn't have hope, and they're like, I'm just drowning in debt, I lost my job, life sucks. Like, if I can reach just one of you, and encourage you to step into the light and note that yes, there's hard work ahead of you, but you were made to work hard. Like that isn't a bad thing, you know, and suffering overall isn't a bad thing. It's not fun. I'm not ever joyful when like I'm oh, that person over there suffering. I feel empathy for them because we are the same, you know. That is my brother, that is my sister, and we are together at this point because we all share in this shared humanity. And that's the goal. That is it at the end of the day. And if you subscribe for that, that's great. And if at any point you get like, oh man, Brian's just a nut job, like, I understand. You know, I live with myself all the time. But I just don't think that it's, at the end of the day, at some point when I'm no longer here, I want to know then, and I want to be proud of what I've done. And again, I'm not trying to reach everybody. I just want one of you to freaking get it done. You know, just, yes, you know, grit the teeth, get the fist, get off the couch and you know, say like, I'm not going to live like this. And it's not going to be just, it's not say, oh yeah, you know, it's, you make that stand, then you got to go do the thing. But you, at the end of that, there is a light, there is a finish line, and then all of a sudden you look back and you realize what you've overcome, and then you feel like the sense of who you are, who you're made to be, and that's what this is about. Anyway, well, I think we went a little bit long on Class Dismissed. I know, like somebody said that the last Class Dismissed was too short, but regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video itself. I appreciate you guys so very much. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully I will see you in the next one. But until then, take care.